love it. This is the best place in the Bronx.
It's a wonderful place. It's beautiful, and the community is wonderful. And what can I say? I mean, it can't be no better than this.
I couldn't believe it, but I got the letter saying, if you're still interested, please respond. I couldn't believe it had actually come to pass. And I'm actually very, very happy. I think I'm the happiest person here today.
There really is a tight-knit community of people who have the same desires and the same goals for their families.
And when my husband came the first time after I met him, he came up to the building and he walked into the court. He said, Shangri-La. And he said, and he would not live anyplace else.
They called me at the perfect time because I was ready to move, and I really, really, really am excited about being here.
It's wonderful to be a cooperator here. It's a wonderful place to raise our kids. It's a wonderful place to grow old. This place is a village.
I like this community. It's a very good community.
You know, I lived in another part of the Bronx, but this is, you know, the nicest place, I think, in the borough to live in.
It's inspiring, it's interesting, it's different, it's friendly. It makes me feel like I'm part of the whole world right within my building.
When we first saw the apartment, I said to my husband, this is it. This is it. I don't care what it takes. I don't care how much money we spend. This is the place for us to be. And we're not leaving.
Amalgamated was formed back in 1927, and the original cooperators came out of a social movement. They had an ideal. There was not one faction. There were a lot of different progressive factions. They'd be called left-wing. There were socialists, anarchists, Bundists, communists, everyone. But they came together on the issue of cooperation as a way of building and owning their own homes. It was a unique idea that working class people could own their own homes, and through the years they developed a strong community. Because we were here in the Bronx, there was strong feeling.
Originally, this area was nothing but a bunch of very old vacant lots with a few homes on it. And, well, that's when I grew up, and today you'd have a difficult time finding a vacant lot anywhere around.
My earliest recollection was when we moved in. There were no sidewalks, there were no stairs in the buildings, and we had to go up planks in order to get to the apartment. There was a depression, and the depression was a very, very hard time. And we had a dry goods store, and my mother kept the store up, but she couldn't pay the rent. At one point, we were on home relief and child welfare, and they wanted the social worker wanted us to move out of the Amalgamated, take our investment that you had, which was $2,000, and get the investment, move down to the apartments like on Avenue A, which were with bathrooms in the hall, and the rent was about $15 a month. And my mother said, never, I will not do this to my children. So these are things that are very, very meaningful to me as a person, thinking of what could have happened to our family if we didn't have the protection and the love of an organization.
I was not involved before World War II. When I came back, I was told by one of my neighbors that Kazan, the president, the manager, the man who created this community, wanted me to join the co-op housing as part of management. And of course, I did. I probably played a bigger role in the life of the cooperative itself than others, because I was the president and the manager for so many years. Indeed, today we don't permit one person to be elected and getting paid, and a person to get paid to run for office and get elected. But in my day, I was given the privilege, as Kazan had had before me, of both roles.
To describe our values, I'd like to read our mission statement, which is to provide quality housing and a strong community for people of moderate income, to operate and live in accordance with the cooperative ideals, including democratic governance, shared responsibility, constant education, and mutual respect. And lastly, not to be left out, the motto given by Dr. James Peter Warbass many years ago, cooperation for service, not for profit. Co-op governance starts with shareholders, of course, who elect the board of directors to set policy.
We have a good board. The board is interested in doing things right. Everybody works together and we're all trying to make a good product, and I think all in all, I think we've made the best co-op product that we can.
You've got people who are giving up their time to work in the best interests of the co-op. And because of the traditions that existed long before I got on the board, it is a board, and always has been, which is not self-serving.
We have a hard-working board of directors. Some things are beyond our control, and we feel bad if we have to raise a carrying charge or do something that impacts cooperators. But we would only do it as a last resort.
We disagree, we see things from different perspectives, but it's always with an eye towards what really works for the co-op. Board members do this for the satisfaction of contributing to the co-op. We do not get paid anything other than thank yous occasionally.
I get personal satisfaction from giving back to the co-op where I grew up and raised my children, and I feel I'm doing what's right, not only for myself and my family, but for my fellow cooperators, my fellow neighbors, people that I've grown up with and lived with.
We don't get paid a salary, we don't get paid a stipend, we don't get free rent. We give our time for the value we get from serving with other board members and from feeling like we've accomplished something on behalf of the co-op as a whole. The board hires a manager who is then responsible for hiring the rest of the paid staff. It's the board that, in effect, acts as the oversight and the policy maker. We check, is management doing the job we want done? And we obviously intermingle with management and exchange thoughts so that they have a clear idea of what it is we want them doing and can then do the things that we need to keep us going.